What if I told you that one of Fallout's greatest mysteries has been hiding in plain sight? A forgotten man with a name that feels like a whisper in the wind. Mr. Yesterday. Who was he? A simple con artist? A ruthless schemer? Or could he be someone we've met before? Today, we deep dive into the mystery of Mr. Yesterday, the shady figure behind the Sierra Madre's construction. And as we peel back the layers, you might find yourself asking the same question I did. Was he just a myth? Or is he Dean Domino's greatest disguise? To understand Mr. Yesterday, we first have to look at his domain, the Sierra Madre Villa. On the surface, it was meant to be a luxurious retreat, the pinnacle of pre-war decadence, brought to life by its founder, Frederick Sinclair. But behind the glamour was a con man with a vision of his own. Mr. Yesterday, the man Sinclair trusted to manage it all. Mr. Yesterday, he was charming, resourceful, and, as it turns out, a master manipulator. With Sinclair's money in hand, he hired the cheapest crews, used substandard materials, and pocketed the difference. But why? Was it greed? Or something more calculated? And how did no one notice what he was doing? Well, as one terminal reveals, Mr. Yesterday had a ace in the hole, but we'll come back to that. Now, accidents, they plagued the villa. Workers were injured, some of them were killed. But instead of taking responsibility, Mr. Yesterday paid off the witnesses, erased the records, and he bribed officials. His empire was built on lies and cut corners. But the real twist was how we got away with it all for so long. Was it luck? Or was someone pulling the strings to ensure the scam stayed hidden? Then, the cloud appeared. A mysterious toxic phenomenon created by Big Mountain's experiments. Workers fell ill, construction halted, and yet, Mr. Yesterday kept scheming. Instead of compensating his workers, he handed them chems to numb their pain. To some, he was the savior. To others, he was the devil himself. But here's the question, guys. Was the cloud an unexpected setback, or did Mr. Yesterday see it as an opportunity? We know that the villa, it was never completed. After the bombs fell, it became a ghost town. But even before that, there were whispers of blackmail, betrayal, and murder. The foreman, one of the key players in the construction, later tried to blackmail Mr. Yesterday, threatening to expose the villa's shady foundation. But before he could, he had a tragic accident, a broken leg, a snapped neck, and a slow death by bleeding out. Coincidence? Or did Mr. Yesterday, or someone working for him, silence the threat? Now guys, this is where things get really interesting. Dean Domino, the suave lounge singer turned ghoul, has more in common with Mr. Yesterday than you'd think. Both were charismatic manipulators. Both had a vendetta against Sinclair. And both had a knack for leaving breadcrumbs of their schemes for others to find. In one terminal, a worker asks the foreman why no one has exposed the villa's flaws. The foreman winks and says, "I've got an ace in the hole." Sound familiar? When the courier first meets Dean, he says, "I'd rather have you on my side than his." An ace in the hole. And at the end of Dead Money, if Dean survives, he gives the Sierra Madre one last nod and a wink. These aren't just coincidences, they're clues. I've always been fascinated by Dead Money. It's the DLC that truly captivated me, not just because of its haunting atmosphere, but because of what it taught me about survival and reflection. It's why I made my film about Dead Money and how Fallout helped me through some of my hardest times. Exploring characters like Dean Domino feels personal, like revisiting an old mentor who still has lessons to teach. And then there's the holotape in Vera's room. The "saw her yesterday," one of Dean's melodies. Could this be a nod to his alter ego? Or perhaps the inspiration for the name itself? The pieces are starting to fall into place. Dean, he even visited the construction workers during the villa's build. A strange move for a lounge singer with no business in construction. He was just being nosy. Or was he ensuring no one jeopardized the scam? One terminal suggests he was offering hush money to workers. Another hints at demolition charges being stockpiled, perhaps to trap people in the villa and force Sinclair's downfall. Does this sound like the work of two separate men, or one master manipulator? So guys, here is the heart of the mystery. For Mr. Yesterday, the villa was more than just a con. It was a weapon against Sinclair. Every shoddy wall, every collapsed patio, every delayed deadline chipped away at Sinclair's reputation. And for Dean Domino, destroying Sinclair wasn't just business. It was personal. Could they really be the same man? And if so, why go to such lengths to ruin someone who once trusted you? So guys, in the end, Fallout, it leaves us with more questions than answers. Was Mr. Yesterday simply a ghost of pre-war world? Or was he Dean Domino's greatest role? A final act of revenge that echoed through the villa's crumbling walls. The clues are there, but the truth? The truth is up to you guys. So, what do you think? Are the winks and the ace in the hole just coincidences? Or do they unravel the mystery of Mr. Yesterday's identity? Leave your theories in the comments, and let's see if together we can uncover the truth, guys. And also, thank you for joining me on this journey through Fallout's mysteries. If you're interested in hearing how Fallout helped me through my own challenges, seriously, check out my film on Dead Money. It's a story of survival in more ways than one. Until next time, guys, stay curious, stay sharp, and keep exploring. Corn out.
Dean Domino, entertainer, singer, thief, explored the Sierra Madre not long after he was rescued by the courier. Once he left the theater, the Sierra Madre recognized him as a guest, and many doors opened to him. He had to admit it had been built to last. During his search, he came across the final records of Vera and Sinclair, and realized what happened the night the bombs fell. He felt strangely sad for a moment, and he had no idea why. Shrugging it off, his mind turned instead to where the courier had come from. Vegas still survived, out there in the Mojave. Its sights, sounds, and casinos, ripe for the taking. So, giving the Sierra Madre one last nod and a wink, he set off beyond the cloud to begin again.